Shedeur Sanders just made the first team. And that's not just a depth chart update, it's a cultural statement. A shot fired. A movement confirmed. And if you heard the way Stephen A. Smith went off on national TV the moment the news broke, then you already know, this isn't about one player. It's about everyone who ever doubted him. Let's rewind for just a second.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Not that long ago, Shedeur was being picked apart by so-called experts. Too flashy. Too loud. Too connected. Too Dion's son. He was seen as a brand first, a quarterback second. Fifth rounder, they called him. A developmental guy. Maybe a backup. Maybe a gadget QB. Maybe someone's future trade asset. And now, he's QB1. And not just by title, by command. By performance. By leadership. By sheer force of presence. So when Stephen A. sat in that ESPN chair and obliterated the critics who tried to box Shedeur in, it wasn't just another hot take. It was a long overdue reckoning. The tone wasn't hype. It was vindication. You better put some respect on this young man's name. That's what Stephen yelled, practically slamming the desk. And he's right. Because what we're seeing unfold isn't just about football. It's about a new era, where talent doesn't have to fit the mold to break it. Shedeur didn't wait for permission. He didn't let scouts define him. He didn't play the humble, fade-into-the-background rookie card. He walked into camp, owned every snap, and changed the entire tempo of the team. Let's not gloss over this. He took a spot that wasn't just open, he earned it from veterans. Day after day in camp, Shedeur was that guy. Accurate. Efficient. He didn't just know the playbook, he read defenses like a seasoned pro. And it wasn't just about the film room or the stat sheet. It was vibe. The way teammates gravitated to him in huddles. The way receivers started running cleaner routes because they knew the ball was coming out perfect. The way the locker room shifted because everyone could tell, this kid wasn't just here to learn. He was here to lead. That's why the Browns made the move. And that's what people like Stephen A. are screaming about. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This was a team betting on football IQ, leadership, and swagger that backs it up. Because if we're being honest, the old-school gatekeepers were never going to be comfortable with Shedeur. He doesn't walk like the quarterbacks they're used to. He doesn't talk like them. He definitely doesn't brand like them. And yet, here he is, on the first team, commanding the huddle, outplaying guys drafted 2, 3 rounds ahead of him, outreading the defense, outshining the moment. And it's funny, those same analysts who gave him a project grade on draft night are awfully quiet now. The Browns saw something most teams didn't. Not just a strong arm, not just clean footwork. They saw a movement. A player who knows how to carry a franchise on Sunday and Monday morning when the media circus comes calling. Because here's the new NFL reality. The quarterback is everything. Face of the team. Face of the media. Face of the brand. And Shedeur? He's built for all three. He's walking into this role with the calm of a veteran, the confidence of a star, and the charisma of someone who could just as easily be hosting late-night television if this whole football thing didn't work out. But make no mistake, it's working out. Because the numbers in camp? Filthy. Zero panic in the pocket. Masterful execution on third downs. Seamless chemistry with receivers who didn't even know his name 2 months ago. And now he's repping with the starters, officially. That's not by accident. That's not by nepotism. That's performance. That's preparation. That's proof. And Stephen A. is just saying what a whole lot of people were thinking but didn't have the guts to say out loud. He earned this. Period. And now that he's earned it, good luck taking it back. This is how revolutions happen in the NFL. Not with press conferences. Not with big off-season trades. But with one guy showing up, doing the work, proving the doubters wrong, and forcing everyone to change their plans. That's what Shedeur just did. And now, the ripple effects begin. Because when a fifth-rounder becomes your starter and starts making your entire offense sharper, it's not just a nice underdog story, it's a system reset. Scouts are taking notes. GMs are reevaluating how they grade intangibles. Coaches are realizing that personality, leadership, and media presence aren't bonuses anymore, they're requirements. Shedeur is the template now. And it's not just about him. It's about the next wave. The quarterbacks coming up behind him. The dual-threat kids with cameras in their face since high school. The ones who can read a cover 2 defense and go viral on TikTok in the same afternoon. Those QBs? They're about to get taken seriously. Because Shedeur cracked the code. He blended old-school grit with new-school media savvy and proved you can win on both fronts. And for all the noise about his last name, let's be crystal clear, this isn't Dion's story anymore. It's his. And he's writing it with every snap, every press conference, every clipped-up highlight that floods your timeline before halftime even ends. So what's next? Pressure. Expectations. Spotlight. All of it. But if the last few months have taught us anything, it's this. Shedeur doesn't shrink. He takes the slander, the doubt, the jokes, and he cooks. He uses it as jet fuel and turns it into completions, touchdowns, and now, a spot on the first team. So to all the doubters? Stephen said it best. You were loud when he fell in the draft. Now be louder while you apologize. This is just the beginning. And everyone in the league just felt the tremor. Now it's your turn. Drop your takes in the comments. Is Shedeur the future of the position? Did Stephen go too hard or not hard enough on the haters? And who's the next rookie to follow this blueprint? Make sure to hit subscribe, because if this is how Shedeur starts his NFL journey, just wait until the season begins. The revolution is real. So he's on the first team now. Let that sit for a second. Not the scout team. Not the developmental group. Not the maybe he'll get some fourth quarter reps situation. He's the guy. And what's happening in locker rooms across the league? You better believe every rookie QB, every backup waiting in the wings, every front office exec who skipped over him in the draft is watching this play out like a slow-motion fumble they can't recover. Because here's the truth, Shedeur isn't just changing outcomes. He's changing protocol. Remember when NFL teams used to obsess over height, hand size, whether a quarterback had classic pocket mechanics? That formula is outdated now, and Shedeur just smashed the glass on it. He's not just a new kind of quarterback. He's the quarterback that new quarterbacks will be measured against. And that's terrifying to the people who missed, the scouts who passed, the teams who had a chance, the GMs who thought they were being safe. Because Shedeur was never about safe. He's about smart and strategic. And yes, swaggered up with receipts to back it all. The haters wanted him to flame out. They wanted the media hype to collapse under pressure. They waited for the moment he'd throw 3 picks in a scrimmage or get chewed out by a position coach on the sideline. You could practically hear the whispers behind closed doors. He's too brand-focused. He's more influencer than QB. He's just Dion's kid. And yet, every day in camp, Shedeur walked into the building, took those assumptions, and lit them on fire. His throws? Clinical. His reads? Lightning fast. His footwork? Way more polished than anyone gave him credit for. And his command? Elite. Not just for a rookie, for anyone. He's not just trying to play the part. He is the part. And you could see the shift happening. Veterans who had been skeptical quietly started pulling him aside after drills. Receivers who had chemistry with the starter suddenly sticking around after practice to run extra reps with Sanders. Even the coaching staff, who probably expected to bring him along slowly, had to stop pretending. He was just too good, too locked in, too undeniable. The moment came when he was officially listed with the first team, and no one in the building flinched. No protests, no confusion, just this unspoken vibe of, yeah, of course. He's ready. And that's what separates Shedeur from the hype machines that burn out fast. He actually prepares like the moment is already his. The man's been studying defenses like it's a final exam, breaking down coverages like he's in year 5, leading the offense like he's already earned AC on his jersey. So yes, when Stephen A. Smith torched the media narrative on live television, it felt personal. Because for Shedeur, it is. He's had to fight through layers of noise. Not just proving he could ball, but proving he could ball without being reduced to a gimmick. Without being typecast as the flashy guy. Without being boxed into the idea that his confidence meant he lacked humility. And now that he's proven it, now that he's QB1, now that the league is finally forced to take him seriously, you'd think he'd celebrate. You'd think he'd spike the ball. But nope. Shedeur's already moved on to the next challenge. That's the scariest part. The kid has already mentally left training camp and is dissecting week 1 coverages in his head. While the league is catching up to this chapter of his story, he's busy writing the next one. And that's exactly why the Browns couldn't afford to let hype distract them. They've seen him operate up close. They've seen how he talks to offensive linemen, breaking down blocking schemes in real time. They've watched him coach up younger receivers. They've noticed how he studies every rep like it's a film session. This isn't accidental. This is blueprint football. It's a system he's built around preparation, persona, and performance. The 3 Ps of Shedeur Sanders' rise. And every single one is working in tandem. So now we're in new territory. This is no longer about, can he handle the NFL? It's about how far he'll take it. Will he dominate early? Will he hit rookie walls and break through them in real time? Will he win over national audiences and keep his foot on the gas as the stakes rise? If his college-to-camp progression is any clue, the answer is yes to all of it. And it's not just fans who are watching. It's brands. It's broadcasters. It's network executives who see Shedeur and think, this kid could anchor ratings like Brady used to. He's already more than just a football story. He's a media case study. A 5th-round pick with first overall charisma and the mental toughness of a 10-year vet. We are so far past the debate over whether Shedeur Sanders belongs in this league. Now we're watching him redefine what belonging even looks like. Because this is what the new face of a franchise looks like. Not just someone who throws touchdowns. Not just someone who gives good sound bites. But someone who reshapes the expectations. A quarterback who doesn't just lead his team. He leads culture. He tells the league, you better evolve. You better start drafting smarter. You better stop ignoring poise, presence, and mental sharpness in favor of raw measurables. Because now every high school and college QB with Shedeur's makeup has a blueprint. You don't have to wait your turn. You don't have to downplay your personality. You don't have to disappear until your second contract. You can walk in the door and take the job. That's the Shedeur Sanders effect. And while the Browns are reaping the rewards, everyone else is playing catch-up. From talent development to brand strategy to social media optimization, other franchises now have a new gold standard to try and duplicate. But good luck replicating this. Because Shedeur wasn't built in a lab. He wasn't scripted into stardom. He was refined by pressure. By people telling him he wasn't ready. By analysts writing him off before his first pro camp. By the exhausting, heavy weight of being Coach Prime's son and still needing to carve out his own legacy. And that's what he's doing, carving it, not copying it. So yes, Stephen A. was right to go off. Right to drag the doubters. Right to elevate the moment. Because this isn't just a first-team designation. This is a declaration. Shedeur Sanders is here. And if you weren't paying attention before, you're officially out of excuses. This isn't just about a quarterback earning a spot. It's about a player shifting an entire ecosystem. Because Shedeur didn't just show up to play football. He showed up to redefine what the quarterback position looks like in 2025 and beyond. He's not playing the role of rookie QB trying to prove himself. He's owning the role of leader, of strategist, of face of the franchise. And the craziest part? He's not waiting for approval to do it. That's why the moment he stepped into the huddle as the official QB1, the energy changed. No panic. No deer in headlights. No pretending. He knew this was going to happen. He prepared for this moment like it was already written. You could feel it in the way he spoke to the media after the announcement. Calm, measured, confident, and unbothered. Not arrogant. Just ready. Not entitled. Just self-assured. And that's what every coach, teammate, and opposing scout is seeing now. This is a quarterback who acts like he's been here before, not because he's faking it, but because his entire life has been a pressure cooker. Cameras, criticism, comparisons, he's been under that spotlight since high school. And unlike so many young QBs who try to dodge the attention, Shedeur leans into it. He uses it, not for clout but as fuel. And don't get it twisted, he's not skipping steps. He's putting in the reps, studying the tape, mentoring younger guys, and building trust with veterans. He's doing it all, but on his own terms. The way he carries himself? You'd think he's already been to the Pro Bowl. But then you watch the tape and you realize he plays like he belongs there too. Pocket awareness? Polished. Throwing mechanics? Processing speed? Scary fast. Command of the offense? Like he built it from scratch. And maybe the most overlooked part, his emotional control. You don't see rattled throws. You don't see sideline tantrums. You don't see overcorrections or frantic decision-making. What you see is a quarterback who thinks before he reacts, and that is rare, especially for someone his age. So now let's talk about what this means for Cleveland. Because let's be honest, this franchise hasn't exactly been known for making bold, visionary quarterback decisions. If anything, their past says the opposite: short leashes, bad fits, and front offices that panic the moment things get hard. But with Shedeur, they didn't panic. They pivoted. They saw what was happening in camp and decided not to force their timeline. They let the results speak for themselves. And the result? A fifth-round pick who walked in, beat out everyone in front of him, and is now being handed the keys to a franchise that desperately needed an identity. Because that's what Shedeur gives them, an identity. Not just a scheme. Not just a new playbook. A personality the team can rally behind. A face the fans can connect with. A mind that can lead a huddle on Sunday and own the media narrative on Monday. That kind of presence? You can't manufacture it. You either have it or you don't. And Shedeur Sanders has it in spades. That's why when Stephen A. lit up every network camera with his trademark fire, he wasn't just defending a rookie. He was defending a revolution. Because Shedeur represents a challenge to the NFL's outdated quarterback archetype. Gone are the days where you could dismiss a young black quarterback for having too much swagger. Gone are the days where charisma was seen as a distraction instead of an asset. Gone are the days where media presence was seen as ego instead of brand mastery. Shedeur didn't break those stereotypes quietly. He dismantled them with purpose. And now, you've got every other front office scrambling, trying to figure out what they missed. Why didn't they see the football IQ? Why didn't they trust the poise? Why didn't they realize that what Shedeur brings off the field actually makes him more dangerous on it? This is what happens when someone plays the game and plays the system. He's rewriting both. And let's not ignore what this means for younger players watching from afar. Because this moment is bigger than Shedeur. This is every talented kid who's been told they're too social media. Every leader who's been told to wait their turn. Every playmaker who's been told to tone it down. Shedeur's success sends a message. You can be yourself. You can have a voice. You can be smart, loud, poised, and unapologetic, and still be the most qualified person in the room. He's showing them that preparation and personality can coexist. That you don't have to conform to rise. You just have to outwork everyone while staying authentic. That's the real revolution. And the NFL can feel it. Coaches, executives, media, even players on opposing teams are paying attention. And don't think for a second they're underestimating him. The scouting reports are getting rewritten every week. Because Shedeur isn't just figuring it out. He's forcing teams to adapt. He's not learning the speed of the NFL. He's setting it. And now that he's QB1, there's no stopping the momentum. The cameras are going to follow. The critics are going to keep poking. The pressure is going to double every week. But Shedeur's already shown one thing. He's built for this. Built for the heat. Built for the weight of expectation. Built to lead not just a team, but a shift in how we define success at the most scrutinized position in sports. And if you're still doubting, he'll add you to the list. Quietly. Professionally. Then he'll go drop 300 yards on Sunday and leave you scrambling for a new take on Monday. Because that's what leaders do. They don't argue their worth. They prove it. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is proving it every time he touches the field. Every time he steps to the mic. Every time he refuses to shrink. So yes, Stephen was loud. Passionate. Maybe even a little unhinged. But he wasn't wrong. He was just one of the first to say out loud what everyone else is starting to realize. Shedeur Sanders is not a gimmick. He's not a flash in the pan. He's not a PR stunt. He's the real deal. He's the blueprint. And the league? Better get used to it. You've got execs in war rooms re-evaluating entire scouting systems. Quarterback coaches pulling out last year's draft boards and wondering how they got it that wrong. Analysts frantically flipping their takes because the old rules just don't apply anymore. And the funny part? Shedeur isn't reacting to any of it. He's too busy leading. While the media machine spins around him, while the comparisons stack higher, while expectations climb like they've got a rocket strapped to them, he keeps the same demeanor. Steady, focused, almost surgical in how he handles his role. It's not just about highlight throws or flashy moments anymore. It's the way he sees the game, the way he breaks it down post-snap, the subtle movements in the pocket that buy just enough time, the command he has at the line, like he's playing chess while everyone else is still figuring out the rules. That's what people are finally seeing. Shedeur's not improvising. He's orchestrating. And when you add that level of football IQ to his confidence, his media savvy, his ability to connect with fans and teammates, that's not just a quarterback. That's a franchise piece. A movement starter. A player whose presence is now shaping the way the game is evolving. We've seen game changers before, players who redefined what their position could be. But with Shedeur, the shift is happening off the field just as fast as it's happening on it. He's showing a new generation of players how to own their story, how to build their voice, how to balance brand and ball without compromising either. And the NFL? It's catching up fast. Because whether it's Cleveland riding the wave or another team watching from the sidelines, everyone knows what's happening here isn't a fluke. It's the future. So when you look back at this moment, the first team confirmation, the Stephen monologue, the league-wide realization, this isn't just a milestone for Shedeur. It's a turning point for everyone watching. The old playbook for what a rookie QB is supposed to be? Burn it. The expectations for how long it takes to lead a team? Rewritten. The ceiling for what a fifth-round pick can achieve? Obliterated. This is a new era. And Shedeur Sanders is already at the front of it. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders reshaping what it means to be a quarterback in today's NFL? Should the league be building around this model of leadership, swagger, and football IQ? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget, subscribe for more deep dives, because this is just the beginning of a story that's going to define the next generation of football. Shedeur isn't chasing the moment. He is the moment.